for, and then I do that and think, right, okay, I've ticked that box. Now I fell into PR because it was a job that my ex-husband was doing and he needed some help. And I was at a stage in my life where I didn't really know what I was doing. So I helped him, and that's how I became a publicist. Found I was pretty good at it, and so it extended beyond 10 years to 20 years. And in fact, I still help startups with their own PR more on a free basis than getting paid for it. But yeah, that's Frugal came because yeah, I thought that as London and the internet became more crowded and it became harder to find things to do that were fun, the things I used to do when I was younger and my kids still do, I thought I'd try and make it that easier for people.
Sort of like, you know, flight platforms. As you look for flights, you have like 15, 20, exactly. 30,
yeah,
and you get lost. Was that the idea?
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely the idea. I mean, you know, it's only because of the internet now that this has now become such a crowded area. Before then, we had time out, and that was basically what we did. We just looked in that. And then, of course, everybody came along with websites and blogs and apps and this and that and the other. So it's become very difficult to find things to do that don't cost a fortune in London.
Did it come from, not frustration, but something like it? Because why events? You know, from PR and events, clearly there's a link, but why strictly events?
Because I think during the recession, people still want to go out. They still want to do things. And it doesn't really matter if you've got no money or you've got lots of money. You still have a desire to just get out the door from time to time. So I don't think that that's ever changed. And my background in publicity was always working in entertainment. So I saw that even during the highs and lows of the economy, that one thing that was never changing was the fact that people wanted to be entertained. That's, you know, whether it's going to a concert or a gig in your local pub or whatever, they still want to do that. And that's my own thing as well. So I think startups are born out of personal passion. So
the app was released this year in March.
In March, yeah.
March, yeah. When did you start working on it? What was, you know, how did you go from the inception till the release in the App Store?
Well, the normal route of not really knowing what I was doing, getting shafted a few times by developers, and then my CTO came on board, and he was someone that could see my frustration and just said, "Okay, I'm going to help you sort this one out." And just before Christmas, we went on the hunt for a team in London, because before then I'd been using outsourcing people abroad and usual nightmare, and decided, okay, you know what, we're going to find a team in London. And we found these young kids. They just graduated from uni, really got what Frugal was all about, and we just decided to take a punt with them. Really thought, I hope this works out, because they hadn't really done an app before, so it was all a bit of a risk, but it worked out. So.
Well, how big was the team at the beginning? It was you and an idea, or?
Yeah, it was, yeah. And I had a web-based app for a year that wasn't very good, and that was just literally me on my own. And I got a government subsidy from the Technology Strategy Development Board that allowed me to create a dashboard that does a lot of the heavy lifting for me, so that we don't have to source all these things from scratch.
So how did it take again from the inception to the App Store?
From the very inception to the App Store, about 18 months.
Okay.
From the getting shafted and having the web-based app to doing this, yeah, almost, yeah, it'll be 2 years in November.
Okay. Let's talk about funding. How did you start? Are you looking for funding now?
Yes and no. I started with my own money, and it continues to be funded using my own money. And I went through an accelerator program at the beginning of the year with my CTO, and that was with a view to raising funding at the end of the program, which was in April. And we started down that route, and I realized we were really way too early in the process. I mean, investors want to see money coming in through the door. They don't want pre-revenue businesses. They want to see that you've got lots of downloads, and, you know, they want a whole lot of stuff that we just didn't have. So So we've stopped that now, and I've got a lot of people that are interested, but I've kind of just put them on hold. I'm keeping them updated every month as to our progress, and we're now moving into our next stage of development, which is bootstrapping on some revenue, and then we're going to go back to them and say, right, okay, guys, we're making some money now. You know, we got some clients, we've got lots of users. Let's talk again. But quite frankly, if I can get away without the money for a while, I'm happier to do that.
What is the hardest thing that you had to face since you started Frugal?
I think the hardest thing being a startup, a tech startup in